Hi everyone and welcome back to Acting with Kira. I hope you've had a lovely week and have been lucky enough to enjoy some sunshine if you have some outdoor space. And I hope you've been keeping busy and keeping yourself stimulated whilst we stay in lockdown. And before we get started, remember to hit that like button and hit subscribe to see more acting tips and videos like this one. This video, I want to talk a little bit about a book I have been reading. So if you watched one of my videos, I think it was 2 weeks ago, it's about staying creative. And one of my top tips, I think, in fact, it was my first tip, was to read. So I have been making sure that I read a lot to keep myself inspired and stimulated during this time. The great thing about reading is you have another person's voice. It's almost like having another person with you, and it's a great form of escapism if you're reading a great piece of fiction, and it's also a great way to learn. So this book I want to talk about is called Big Magic, and it was recommended to me. It's by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I didn't really know anything about it when I decided to get it. It just had such a great recommendation that I thought, great, I'll just get it and read it. And I didn't even know it was about creativity. But yes, it's about creativity, and it says here, creative living beyond fear. So there's lots of different mental blocks that get addressed in this book. Mental blocks that seem to come hand in hand with the journey of creating. So I finished the book now, but I want to just talk to you guys about a couple of the key things that I really took away from this book. So the first thing I want to talk about is the idea that creativity should not be based on validation. So what I mean by that is you shouldn't do something just for the idea of someone telling you how good it is, just for that praise at the end of the project. When you do that, it can be extremely crippling, because if you project forward into the future and don't believe that your work is going to get the praise that you want, it can stop you from stepping forward and even starting the process of making. I wonder if you've ever had that feeling. It's certainly a common one where you think about a project, get really excited about it, quickly followed by a wave of self-doubt. And that self-doubt is often related to the validity that you are hoping to get or are worried you won't get at the end of the project. So that was a really, really big takeaway for me, is to not do something because of praise. One of the key things that the book talks about from the very beginning is the idea of creativity being a separate thing to yourself. This isn't a notion I'd explicitly heard before, but made sense when you think of the concept of muses, of someone having a muse and that being their inspiration and their creativity coming to them. So this is the way that Elizabeth Gilbert describes creativity, as something separate from yourself that is given to you, and it may, as easily as it comes to you, drift away again. It's this constant flow and ebb of an external wave coming your way. Because she talks about creativity being something separate to you, she touches on the fact that you don't need to worry yourself as to whether it is right or wrong or good enough or not. She describes it as taking almost a weight off of yourself, that you are almost like a vessel for this external thing that has come through you. So if the results aren't exactly what you wanted, there's a looseness and a freedom about it, because it was something external given to you in the first place anyway. It was a gift and you expressed it, and now it's time to seek a new form of creativity and let the new wave of inspiration come through you. A really, really interesting thing that she talks about is the juxtaposition of being a serious artist and not taking things too seriously. I really connected with this because when you create something, you want to take it seriously. When you're an artist, you want to make something that you're proud of and that you have been disciplined about and given your time to and be serious about. And some of the things we create convey serious topics. However, with the seriousness, there should also be a lightness. If you're so serious all the time, you can get really locked in your head and you can forget the fun and the joy of creating. At the end of the day, you're just creating something. As she mentions a few times, it's not a life or death situation. So whilst your art may be serious, don't take it too seriously. Find the fun in it. Remember the joy and the spark of why you're doing something and just play around. So I really, really recommend this book. Those are some of the key things that I took away from it. It really made me think a lot about my relationship with my creativity and actually really made me motivated to start creating something. Every time I put it down, I felt very inspired. So I really, really think it's a great read for anyone who wants to be working in creativity or just wants to spend their free time creating and remember the joy in it. So I hope you guys are having fun creating and making whatever it is that you are doing. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and like if you like this video. And I will see you next week. Have a good week, guys. Bye.